Okay, our beloveds, it is another day and another dime. Your dollar has been so heavily devalued by deflation, inflation, stagflation. It is all over the place, but your dollar is no longer worth $1 at this point. It is worth 10 cents. So what do you do when your money is being devalued like that, right? Or the alternative is inflation is causing the value to go down. You simply get practical. The fact is, you have been living off of borrowed money anyway. You invested with the expectation that it would go up, thereby causing everything to go up, thereby causing the spiral to continue. You offshored most of your production. You lost most of your local jobs. You complain about illegals coming in and stealing your jobs when the primary problem is that you simply have no real economy or infrastructure anymore. When you outsource or offshore most of your production, you need to expect that your jobs will decrease. And as you reduce the number of practical jobs, manufacturing jobs, building things, real things, you need to understand that your workforce will get somewhat lazy because all you have left are the desk jobbers. And they don't want to get their fingers or their hands or their feet or their toes dirty. And yet there is a whole percentage of the populace that actually would love to do this, believe it or not, if they were paid a real living wage. Now, a living wage is not what you call it. Minimum wage, $15 an hour. That is not a living wage. We are talking a minimum of $50,000 per year in kind of the Midwest. Considerably more on the coasts for obvious reasons because the cost of living there is much more expensive. And you need to do this by creating manufacturing jobs where your workforce is paid well, where you provide them with benefits, or somebody provides them with benefits, either your collective government structure or the employer. And you offer training, you offer college for the children, for those who are interested. You create apprenticeships. You reduce the number of people who go to college for worthless degrees in order to fill the coffers of the universities while filling them with nothing but utter nonsense. People need to know how to balance their checkbooks. They need to know how to pay their taxes. They need to know how to cook their food. They need to know how to grow their food. They need to know how to fix their cars. They need to have basic household repair skills. But the problem is you don't teach anybody any of this because you all go to mechanics, cooks, seamstresses, whatever it is. You buy your clothing for $5 at Walmart that slave labor in China has produced. You guys have gotten your whole economic system out of whack, and then you blame the illegals. No, 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 no. Teach your kids real values, real skills, how to do real things around the house and within the community. Teach them how to garden. Teach them how to fix cars. Teach them how to check a roof to see if there's a leak. Teach them how to frame in a home, how to tile a floor, how to put in a faucet. Teach them how to check to see if the electricity is hot or not with little meters. Teach them where to turn the main water valve off in your home. So if a flooding event should occur, teach them how to cook on a gas stove if there is no starter. Teach them how to jumpstart a car for those few of you who still drive a stick shift. Teach them how to prune a tree. Teach them how to, in a healthy way, kill off bugs. You can use baking soda. You can use bentonite clay. You can use natural products. And we want you to learn how to go back to nature, how to go back to simpler times, simpler processes, and when your world was more in balance. It is so out of balance. And many of you are trying to clear your throat chakra because you are so frustrated with where you see everything. But the problem is, until you learn to speak up from truth and not from the propaganda that you hear outside of yourself, you're never going to really speak your truth. Think critically, think independently, think with a discerning mindset. Don't blindly follow the masses or the asses off of the cliff. It is your greatest challenge to learn how to critically think again, how to think for yourselves, how to connect the dots, find the patterns. You guys have gotten so attuned and accustomed to others doing stuff for you, including your electronics, that you have lost your navigation skills as a whole in life. And it's not going to serve you well if the internet ever does, for a short term or medium term, go down. So we encourage you to figure out where north, south, east, west is. Memorize people's phone numbers. Maybe put it in a paper book and just memorize the numbers. Start to use your brain cells and create a greater pattern finding or sequence finding process. Do crossword puzzles, do Sudoku, do anything that keeps your mind alert and not through mindless stuff, and use paper goods instead of electronic goods. Turn off the electronic screen, which overstimulates your brain, and go back to those paper books that will help to give you a tactile sensation, because you will physically feel the paper and turn the pages. You will hold a pencil in your hand. You will feel the scratching of the lead on the paper, which is satisfying for some people. It will allow you to take the pencil and scratch out the names of those items that you have found in the word search or what you have done in the crossword puzzle. Begin to go back to those basics, because there's much that your body can retrain in itself to bring you back to your intuitive memories. Your electronics have overstimulated your brains and have grabbed the attention of real life. So instead of watching a movie, maybe go and watch the sunset or the clouds flit across the sky, or go to the zoo where you see the animals just being. Nobody is just sitting on their electronic device at the zoo. The animals was what we're speaking of, just observing other people's lives, if that makes sense. Try to find some balance in what existed before technology. And technology is a great gift, and we do not wish to disparage it at all, but we're just saying, find some balance and come back into that space. You will find that your heart races less, your brain sleeps better, your brain will disengage more and be present in the moment. Your communication style with others will be more relaxed, and you will just find a greater peace and presence in your day-to-day rhythms. It's just the nature of the universe. And, we want everybody maybe one day a week to just have a reset where you don't use electronics at all, similar to Sundays where church was the only thing that was open. The businesses were closed. The activities were not in session. It was a time to go home, spend time with family, and just reflect on the grace that God has bestowed upon you, if you will, to get into a grateful heart space where you thank the divine or whomever for the blessings. You break bread with your family and your neighbors. You sit on the porch rocking, telling stories, or just otherwise enjoy one another's company. It is a lost art to be present with people without an electronic device connecting you all. It is old to young now. Everybody has been so entrained and programmed to be constantly attached to something that many of you go through withdrawal symptoms or another included within a short time frame of not being connected to something beyond yourself in your physical realm. And we mean in your home. So take this message for what it is worth. It is a simpler one today because, to be honest, most of you are overwhelmed in some ways, and we don't wish to overstimulate you today because tomorrow will be another day where we can do that. Today, just go back to simpler times and be present and be thankful and appreciative and say your prayers to whomever you wish to say them to, maybe to your children. Thank you for being here in my life. And be grateful for the blessings that you do have. If you have a roof over your head, a car to drive, food on your table, heat or cooling, and sufficient money to support your basic needs, then consider yourself lucky, because there is still a huge percentage of the populace elsewhere that can't even say that they have those particular items, which many of you truly do take for granted. And we're not trying to get you into a state of lack of abundance. No, it is just more an appreciation for what you do have in your current life, so you can see what you have and why you are appreciative of it. It is just a nice thing to do to center and ground your heart. So many blessings to you today, and so it is. Namaste.